Discover the incredible angel who miraculously fought for Lucifer and encountered divine wrath in the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, king of Judah. The mighty heavens trembled with anticipation as the Most High began the monumental task of creation. In this sacred time, Oriel, an angel of resplendent light, once dwelled in the exalted realms beside the throne of God. Illuminated by the divine presence, he roamed the celestial halls, his form glimmering with the essence of God's glory as the bearer of divine illumination. But amidst the harmony of heaven, a discordant whisper began to weave its way through the radiant ranks. The voice belonged to the archangel Lucifer, known as the morning star, whose brilliance captivated many souls. His charm and ambition stirred the hearts of lesser angels, introducing a darkness that nipped at the edges of Oriel's own steadfast heart. There was an allure in his promises, a tantalizing vision of glory and power that beckoned him to rise against the sovereign will of the Creator. Each word from Lucifer's lips reverberated like a sweet melody, sparking discontent in the hearts of those who listened. As pride began to weave its tendrils into Lucifer's being, his beauty morphed into a monstrous ambition. Oriel observed with a burgeoning disquiet, torn between the light of unwavering loyalty and the seductive pull of rebellion. Michael, the commander of heavenly hosts, sensed the upheaval brewing in the heavenly realm. He rallied faithful angels, urging them to remain steadfast in their allegiance to God. Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful scripture stories. Click the bell icon and select All Notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share with someone who needs to hear about God's faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments, which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey? I'm always amazed how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now let's continue with what the Lord did next. The emotional storm brewed as the time of reckoning approached. Oriel floundered in uncertainty, feeling the weight of his decision. He longed for the freedom Lucifer promised yet was paralyzed by the fear of forsaking the light of God. The pulsating tension, potent and blinding, manifested on the blissful horizon of heaven. The loyal angels, those still faithful to God, readied their hearts for the imminent battle against rebellion. As the clash erupted, the skies ignited with the fury of war. The reverberations of divine justice shook the very foundations of the celestial realm. Oriel watched, his heart a tumult of doubt and fear, gazing at the familiar figure of Lucifer who now led fallen spirits cloaked in shadows. The dazzling light that once characterized his fellow archangel was a mere echo of its former self. In an instant, an overwhelming presence fell as God's light pierced through the chaos. It radiated with a brilliance that unveiled the stark reality of rebellion's separation from the source of life, destruction born of pride. As Michael's sword cut through twilight's battle, clarity surged within Oriel. He trembled at the realization, the allure of power bore the bitter fruit of emptiness. Torn between the chains of darkness and the promise of divine light, he heard the heart of heaven beat, renewing his hope and allegiance. Would he embrace the chaos of rebellion or return to the enduring grace of his Creator? In this fateful moment, his choices hung delicately in the balance, awaiting the dawn of God's ultimate plan. As the echoes of the celestial clash reverberated through the heavenly expanse, Oriel felt the weight of eternity pressing down upon him. The shimmering light surrounding him intensified, reflecting both the fury of battle and the yearning for reconciliation. He gazed upon Michael, the angelic warrior, who stood resolute, his sword aglow with divine fury. With each stroke, he cleaved through the darkened ranks of Lucifer's rebellion, illuminating the shadows that sought to engulf the sacred realm. "Stand firm, brethren!" Michael cried out, his voice like thunder rolling across the firmament. "For the Lord our God is a mighty fortress, he will not forsake his own." The word struck Oriel's heart with profound truth, igniting flames of courage within his spirit. Each syllable drew a boundary line between light and darkness, loyalty and treachery. But as Oriel watched, bound in his struggle, the tendrils of doubt curled tightly around his heart. In the tumult of the skirmish, he could see the countenance of Lucifer, once radiant, now twisted with fury and sorrow. The morning star had become a specter of his former self, urging the fallen angels with a voice laced with desperation. Join me. Embrace your true potential. We will overthrow the confines of the Almighty. In our unity lies strength. His words cut through the chaos, resonating with many who once revered him. Yet a deep unrest stirred within Oriel's spirit. He remembered the words of the Creator, spoken long ago in the luminous stillness. Let there be light, and the universe sprang into existence, a testament to God's sovereign will and love. How could he forsake the divine light that had once illuminated his path and guided him in sacred purpose? With renewed resolve, Oriel stepped forward, lifting his voice above the tumultuous cries of rebellion. Brothers, do we not remember our purpose? We were created to serve and glorify Him who reigns eternal, not to seek our own folly. His words, fraught with passion, drew the gazes of many, even among those swayed by Lucifer's dark charm. Silence. Lucifer roared, his beauty now a shadow, corrupted by pride. You know not what you sacrifice. Power awaits those bold enough to seize it. But as Oriel stood firm, Michael charged beside him, his presence a bulwark against despair. Who among us shall follow the path of darkness? Shall we conspire against our Creator, our loving Father? It is written, for the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. In that decisive moment, the battleground ceased to be just a field of conflict, it became a stage for choices that would echo through the ages. The loyal angels rallied around Michael and Oriel, their hearts ignited with courage and purpose. Together, they faced the darkness, fully resolved to defend the sovereignty of the Almighty. Yet above the war-torn heavens, a greater plan was unfolding. Unbeknownst to all, the struggle between light and dark was but a prelude to a divine mystery far more profound, for even as rebellion sought dominion, God's plan of redemption twinkled in the distance like a beacon of unyielding hope. In the heart of heaven, the battle raged on, but in the midst of chaos, Oriel felt a stirring within his soul, a revelation of God's unshakable promise. Would he stand, not just as a guardian of heaven, but as a cornerstone in the unfolding of a divine purpose that even now began to take root? The shadows danced around them, but the light of the Almighty pierced through the gloom, whispering of victories yet to come, both in the heavens and upon the earth. It was only the beginning of what God had ordained. What would be the fate of those who chose light and darkness? Thus, the stage was set for the ultimate revelation of God's sovereign plan, stretching beyond time and space, inviting all creation to witness His unfolding glory. As the fierce clamor of the celestial war drew nearer, Oriel glanced toward the radiant figure of Michael, whose sword now blazed with the very light of the Creator. The angelic host, emboldened by their leader's courage, surged forward with newfound vigor, the echoes of their battle cries piercing through the darkness. In the swirling tempest of conflict, the two factions clashed, the air thick with vivid energy. Oriel, standing beside Michael, recalled the sacred purpose woven into their existence. "Oh, my brethren," he called, his voice quaking with fervor, "let us stand resolute. For it is written, whoever is not with me is against me, and whoever does not gather with me scatters." The words of the Master rang true in their hearts, urging them to rally toward the light. Amidst the chaos, Lucifer's voice resonated like a mournful wind, insidiously calling to those wavering in their allegiance. You fight against your destiny. Cast off the shackles of servitude. For how can your Creator be just when He binds you in servitude? Rise against Him and take your rightful place. Many of the once loyal angels hesitated, caught in the web of doubt as the specter of their former leader sought to ensnare their hearts. It was then that a voice rose above all, a being of immense authority and divine grace. Lucifer. Michael thundered, his fierce gaze fixed upon the embodiment of rebellion. You have chosen the path of destruction, and your allure shall not ensnare those who are anchored in truth. It is the heart of the Almighty that protects and nourishes us, it is His will that gives us life. The truth of Michael's declaration rippled through the ranks, offering a glimmer of strength in the shadows. The tide of battle ebbed and flowed, as loyalty flickered like a candle wavering in the gusts of wind. Oriel could see the confusion among them. With urgency, he stepped forward again, compelled by the Spirit of the Almighty. Brothers, do we not see? Our Father, in His love, has granted us freedom not to rebel and fall, but to choose the light. We are the manifestations of His glory. Let us not forsake our calling. The words ignited a flame among the faithful. In a magnificent surge, the loyalist angels united, their hearts fortified by the overwhelming truth of divine purpose. Yet, shadows lurked in the corners of heaven. As Michael engaged Lucifer in combat, driven by righteousness, Oriel caught a glimpse of spectral forms swirling in the void, remnants of the fallen. Their eyes, once filled with heavenly light, now mirrored a vacant abyss, reflecting the futility of their rebellion. What is this? Oriel pondered, dread dawning upon him. What desperation drives them to forsake such joy? In the heart of the conflict, whispers of doubt and defiance wove through the ranks of discontent. Oriel sensed the fragile thread of loyalty stretching thin, while the Lord's promise of protection lingered in the depths of his soul. Then suddenly, a hush settled over the skirmish. From the depths of heaven's glory, an overwhelming light burst forth, illuminating the darkness that sought to entwine them. It was a divine reminder of all that had been promised. Lucifer paused, shadows twisting in confusion as the brilliance exposed his betrayal. What is this? He growled, his facade momentarily cracked. Michael seized the moment, sword raised high. This is the judgment of the Almighty. It is now your reckoning, O King of Lies. As Michael's sword descended, an ethereal cry rang out, echoing through creation, the heavens trembling in response. Each angel felt the gravity of their choices as eternity whispered to their hearts, forging destinies anew. And in that sublime instant, Oriel grasped the profound truth: the unfolding of God's plan was beyond comprehension. Even amidst the chaos, as light clashed with darkness, the foundation of redemption beckoned in the distance. Could it be that through every choice, every rebellion, and every act of courage, the tapestry of salvation was being woven? A divine resolution hovered on the horizon. What would come of those who chose allegiance? How would the shadows reply to the eternal light that pierced their very essence? Thus, the battleground reverberated with the echoes of God's sovereign wisdom, preparing for the ultimate revelation that would reshape the fabric of existence itself. As Michael's sword fell, time seemed to stretch like the fabric of the cosmos, caught between the weight of rebellion and the strength of righteousness. The cry of the cosmos resonated, awakening the hearts of the angels who stood firm in their covenantal promise to the Almighty. Oriel felt a surge of purpose as he looked upon his brethren, the stirring shadows of doubt beginning to dissipate under the brilliance of divine truth. The angel Gabriel, a watchman of hope, advanced through the fray. His voice rose above the tumult, a clarion call enlivened by faith. Fear not, my brothers. For our Creator is not weak, and His might shall be our refuge. The gates of heaven shall not buckle under the weight of treason, for the righteous shall endure. Each word lit a flame within the hearts of those who yet remained steadfast. Oriel felt strengthened as Gabriel moved among the celestial host, restoring clarity to those confused by Lucifer's deceit. The air crackled with anticipation, a symphony of divine determination as the loyal angels rallied behind their leaders. Yet, amidst the rallying cries, Lucifer's followers, emboldened by the shadows, rallied in their defiance. Their darkened spirits buzzed with the false promises of freedom and power, each one a mirror of wretched ambition. Do you not see? Cried Oriel, a chief of the rebels, his voice reverberating with sedition. The Almighty seeks to bind you, to suppress your true nature. Rise, and we will be masters of our own destinies. The struggle within the hearts of the angels was palpable. Despite the truth blaring like a trumpet in their spirits, the allure of pride lingered venomously, whispering treachery amidst the angels of the Most High. Oriel sensed the fragility. Brothers, remember the joy of our creation. It is not servitude but love that binds us. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. In that moment, hope mingled with resolve, and the loyalists surged forward. Clashing luminaries with their former companions, the kaleidoscope of divine light and imagined strength erupted. Michael, fueled by the power of the Almighty, struck vigorously at Lucifer, the clash of their wills sending waves of heavenly resonance cascading through the heavens. With each collision of their swords, confusion erupted among the fallen. The realization of their tumultuous choice to abandon the light fell heavily upon many. In that sacred instant, Oriel noticed Lucifer falter. The once proud countenance of the fallen one wavered as the truth began to pierce his own heart. Suddenly, a voice as ancient as creation echoed across the celestial battleground, reverberating through the depths of every being created. Lucifer, O light-bringer, your time of reckoning is at hand. The clash of righteous forces hesitated, the echo of divine truth bringing hush upon all who listened. Oriel, still aflame with renewed vigor, recognized that this was not merely a physical battle but a confrontation that echoed the very heart of redemption itself. With the clarity of purpose solidifying within him, he called to the wavering souls, stand firm. The Almighty's plan is beyond our understanding, yet in it lies our hope. For it is written, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. As divine light filled the space around them, illuminating the dark corners of doubt and despair, Oriel felt the tether of connection with the Almighty Titan. Each breath, each pulse of celestial life, was a testimony to the greatness of their origin. What lay ahead remained hidden in the shadows of history. The battle seemed only the beginning of a greater revelation woven within the fabric of destiny itself. The innumerable hosts of heaven readied themselves as the stark contrast of divine justice and rebellion surged like a tidal wave. The promise of redemption hovered tantalizingly before them. Could it be that the path to salvation lay hidden in their responses to the light? Just then, from the throne of God, a voice thundered, in this clash between light and darkness, the ultimate purpose of this creation shall unveil, and the hearts of all must choose. And so, with eyes cast upon the heavens and the weight of eternity pressing, Oriel, like the faithful angels around him, stood poised on the brink of divine unveiling, the flash of the Almighty's plan shimmering ever closer. As the celestial battle raged on, a fierce clash echoed through the expanse of heaven. Michael, mightier than any warrior, pressed forward against Lucifer, whose face twisted with rage and despair. He shouted, "You foolish ones! Do you not understand? You were created to be rulers. Break free from your chains." Yet, his words were but hollow echoes, growing fainter against the strength of Michael's resolve. Oriel, amid the chaos, beheld the struggle not only of might but of wills. It was a battle whose stakes extended far beyond the borders of that heavenly realm. It touched the very essence of creation itself. Fear surged through him, but it was not fear of the combat but dread for those who had strayed from the light. He called out again to his brethren, we must show them the way back. Love is our call to action, and mercy is our might. As the loyal angels surged toward the fallen, the ground of heaven shook with the weight of their choices. The bright warriors, soaring as beams of divine grace, encircled their former brethren who faltered in shadows. Yet, one voice rose, fierce and serpentine, a voice Oriel recognized as belonging to Oriel, the once faithful forerunner turned rebel. Fools! He snarled, do you not see the destruction you embrace? You are pawns in the hand of a creator whose will shackles your potential. In that moment of upheaval, doubt began to network its way through the hearts of the rebels, and Oriel steeled himself as he glimpsed the wavering figures. The darkness that tempted them was insidious, veiling truth with the allure of freedom. With fervor, he renewed his appeal, brothers, let us not forget who we are. Our existence is a testament to the glory of God. He has chosen us for purpose, not for bondage. His light shines bright, casting out all darkness. For as high as the heavens are above the earth, so great is his love for those who fear him. But amid the confrontation, Lucifer had not rendered himself powerless. In the vast din, he unleashed a whirlwind of lies, attempting to blind the angels. You are not merely servants, you are kings. He bellowed, distortions wrapping around their minds like chains. Surrender your worship and seize your rightful destiny. Oriel felt the pull of such words, understanding too well their seductive nature. He sought the heart of God, praying fervently, and in doing so, received divine clarity. Children of the Most High, what shall you choose? Will you cling to the light that calls you, or embrace the dark that should be loathed? With dread prisons echoing around them, the loyal angels struck forward, passing through Lucifer's misty veil of deceit like rays of divine sunlight. The truth began to emerge amid the struggle, lifting the hearts of his brethren, sparking the embers of rebellion against their deceptive captor. From the majestic throne, the voice of the Almighty reverberated again, clear and full of authority, witness now the stages of human history laid before you. For man shall know the depth of choice, and as these angels once chose light, so too shall men be faced with two paths, resurrection unto life or descent into perdition. The vision of the unfolding future filled Oriel's heart with yearning. He could see the shadow of humanity manifested within the design of God, a testament of faith, filled with trials yet offering everlasting hope. As the battle intensified and Michael strived with renewed vigor against his once esteemed leader, Oriel, his heart heavy with the weight of divine calling, realized, what if the path to our redemption lies not solely within our fight, but within the hearts we inspire to awaken? With that revelation igniting his spirit, Oriel resolved to pursue even the most hardened hearts among the rebels, for he could sense that even in their darkness, the promise of light awaited. And the cosmic struggle raged on, with the stakes of heaven entwining with those of earthen souls still to embrace the coming dawn of redemption. In the midst of turmoil, the tapestry of God's sovereign plan loomed, threads of hope interwoven with the choice to follow the light or remain in shadows. The question hung pregnant in the air: what monumental deeds would the unfolding future reveal? And as the celestial conflict escalated, new voices of dissent began to emerge among the ranks of the fallen. The once dilatory murmurs became louder, urging for revolution and rebellion against the very light they once basked in. Oriel witnessed the struggle grow not only amongst the angels but within their hearts, as doubt infiltrated the minds of many. "Remember your first love," Oriel implored, his voice rising like thunder above the fray. "Remember the radiance of his glory. We were created to magnify his name." Yet, even as he spoke, shadows crept deeper into the minds of the insurrectionists, smothering the luminous memories of their former fellowship with the Almighty. Then, amid the chaos, a sight arrested Oriel's gaze. He beheld a figure flickering between the walls of light and darkness. It was Oriel, a once loyal angel now wavering in ambiguity, as if straddling both worlds. Torn between the soothing whispers of Lucifer and the eternal truths spoken by Michael, Oriel's heart mirrored the trials of humanity itself. What is freedom? He pondered aloud, caught in the whirlwind of temptation. Is it to serve one's desire or to kneel in surrender to a higher authority? It is our choice that defines us. Oriel cried, desperation thick in his voice. For true freedom is found in the heart that submits to the will of the Creator. So choose: will you return to the source of your light, or will you fall deeper into the abyss? Oriel, as if drawn by an invisible tether, lingered uncertainly, reflecting inward. The echoes of the truth reverberated within him. Yet, even as Oriel reached out, Lucifer struck back with a cunning deception. "Look and see, O fallen ones. Are you not capable? Why settle for servitude when you can seize your destiny? Desire your greatness. I offer you power, not shackles." The tension thickened, and Oriel sensed the balance tipping. The transformation within Oriel was one moment away from realization. He prayed fervently for enlightenment to pour into Oriel's heart. "O God, may your truth break through the veils of darkness. For your word is the lamp unto our feet." In that instant, a rush of divine wind swept through the heavenly realm, sweeping away the fog of deceit. Oriel witnessed Oriel's eyes widen, as brilliant light pierced through his doubt, igniting the ember of hope hidden deep within. "The power to stand is not within ourselves," he exclaimed, tears glimmering like stars. "It lies in the hand of God." Lucifer's face twisted to fury, sensing the tides turning. "You dare betray me, Oriel? Join me, and you shall reign." His words dripped with bitterness, but Oriel stood resolute, stepping back from his former allegiance. As Michael and Lucifer clashed fiercely, Oriel began to see the fruit of their united stand. "It is time," Michael called, "to reveal the nature of our triumph." Finally, with a united command, Oriel and his brethren surged toward the entrapped souls, unleashing the light of truth upon them like flames of purifying fire. "Come forth. Come out of the shadows," he invoked, extending hands of compassion toward both the fallen and those still roiling in treachery. The battle raged on, as Lucifer, now cornered, summoned forth his dark lieutenants. As they swept towards the light, their fierce cry of rebellion thundered through the expanse. "We will not be chained. We will rise." Yet amid the clamor, God's voice echoed once more across the heavens, firm and certain as granite. "Watch closely, beloved children. For there will come a day when I shall manifest my judgment upon this rebellion, and every knee shall bow, and every tongue confess that I am Lord." As the air crackled with electric tension, and Oriel stood, resolute and bathed in divine purpose, he sensed a new and profound revelation looming near. In the distant future, the tale of darkness would intertwine with the promise of redemption, sending ripples through the hearts of generations yet to come. What secret treasures would these unfolding events unlock, and how would God's sovereign plan be revealed to a world still lost in shadows? And it came to pass that the celestial might of Michael shone with unparalleled brilliance as he engaged Lucifer in the fiercest of combats. The clash of their wills resonated throughout the heavens, weaving a tapestry of light and darkness. Every blow exchanged reverberated with the gravity of eternity's destiny. The legions of heaven watched with bated breath, witnessing the epic contest between the architect of rebellion and the champion of glory. Yet the fervent spirit of Oriel burned brightly amid the chaos. He sensed the desperation of their plight and the anguish woven into Oriel's heart. "Stand firm, brother," he called, his voice cutting through the din. "The light we carry is not from ourselves, it is the breath of the Almighty, filling our vessels with hope and purpose." Oriel, now fully awakened from his stupor, felt the weight of his choices pressing upon him as never before. "I once knew this light," he cried, lifting his gaze toward Oriel, whose countenance radiated divine encouragement. "Can it truly illuminate the shadows that seek to consume me?" "Indeed." Oriel reassured him, "For God is faithful, and his promise shines brighter than the depths of despair. There is still time. Choose life, dear friend. For in him, we find our identity restored and our purpose fulfilled." As their eyes met, Oriel began to understand that surrender was not a defeat but rather an embracing of the eternal destiny bestowed upon him. He turned toward the raging battle, where Michael's might clashed with Lucifer's fury, and decided then not to cower in silence. "By the grace of the Most High, I rise. I will cast aside the shadows." Lucifer, sensing the shifting tides, raged with fury. "You, too, have dreams of power, Oriel. Do not allow them to wither." His voice dripped with venom, echoing temptation into the hearts of those swirling in uncertainty. "Join me, and we shall etch our names into the annals of eternity." But Oriel stood apart, heart beating like a drum of war. He recalled the moments of joy in his obedience to the Father. "Forgive me, Lord," he whispered, and as these words ascended, the fiery mantle of divine light enveloped him, igniting him anew. Oriel, feeling the Spirit's stirring, turned to his fellow warriors. "Let us strike forth in unison. Together, we radiate the triumph of his love." With a collective roar of affirmation, they surged toward Michael, the radiance of their faith illuminating the very fabric of creation. As the fateful blow rang forth, a voice like myriad thunders declared, "It is finished." The heavens trembled, and the echoes of the concluding clash resonated throughout the sphere of existence. Lucifer, sensing defeat, began to retreat into the void. "You have lost the war," he screamed in frustration, but Michael's sword, imbued with heavenly justice, struck true, causing a fissure of light to burst open in the abyss. In that moment, something profound occurred, as the chains binding the hearts of many began to shatter. The adversaries of light, gripped by terror yet drawn to the grace offered, began to rethink their fractured destinies. And God, observing with a heart of love, spoke with divine clarity, I shall weave through the darkened threads of rebellion, and from the ashes of sin, I will birth a tapestry in time that will be unveiled to all mankind. His voice thundered joyfully, revealing a hidden truth yet to unfold, for the promise of redemption is greater than the depths of betrayal, and through the dust of despair, a new creation shall emerge, rising to meet the eternal light of grace. With that, Oriel felt an unshakable conviction. What revelation is unfolding, O Lord? He whispered, knowing the answer was soon to be revealed, one that would shake the foundations of heaven and earth alike. The import of God's sovereign plan for his creation lingered in the air like pregnant clouds before a storm, bursting forth soon to bring the fresh rain of mercy and restoration to all. And it came to pass that the radiance of hope intermingled with human despair, as the echoes of the heavenly battle began to envelop the realms of the earth. The morning star dimmed in fear, and the shadows lengthened, trembling at the majesty of God's unfolding plan. The faithful stood vigilant, pondering the meaning of the upheaval that resounded across the expanse of all creation. Meanwhile, a council was called in the shadowed recess of rebellion, where the remnants of darkness lingered quietly, their hearts deepened by despair. There stood Lucifer, no longer a radiant being but a fragmented spectre consumed by rage and ambition. He addressed the fallen, I have been struck, but this is not the end. The scars of defeat will not quell my fury. For even amidst ashes, embers may ignite. His voice, now a haunting whimper, echoed amidst the shadows. Who will follow me? He continued, desperation tinged with bitterness lacing his tone. There lies a power hidden yet within the fabric of creation, waiting for those bold enough to grasp it. We shall not remain broken relics, no. We shall mold our destinies anew. Together, we shall forge a rebellion that will rise beyond the grasp of divine wrath. Yet there was one amongst them, one whose heart was torn by conscience, the angel known as Azazel. He had stood shoulder to shoulder with Lucifer in times of glory, but the fires of his allegiance wavered under the weight of the truth revealed. You speak of power yet do not acknowledge the cost of our rebellion. Azazel pleaded, his voice trembling with conviction. In our quest for dominion, what peace will we find? Have we not tasted the sweetness of God's love? The tension thickened as discord ran like a river through the ranks of the fallen. A silence fell heavy, binding their hearts in contemplation, until finally, a thundering voice rose from the depths of their assembly, Azazel speaks of the truth, brethren. Let us not let pride lead us to our doom. It was Asmodeus, a name once revered but now fogged by the weight of regret. We must reckon the anguish our Lord shall bring upon us should we continue this folly. In that final hour, a flicker of grace darted through the darkness, igniting a trembling in Azazel's heart. Even amidst the memories of our glory, I know now that there is a deeper calling to be fulfilled, he confessed, courage shifting the foundations of his essence. If there is still a remnant of mercy, let us seek redemption, lest the fire of wrath consume us all. As Lucifer's rage boiled over, he bared his teeth and cast aside the flickering remnant of defiance. Betrayer! He shouted, you would choose chains over power. I will not let dissent fester among us. Leave, if you wish, but the rest shall rise with me. Yet the heart of Azazel swelled with newfound resolve. I shall not follow you into darkness. My heart longs for the grace I once knew. I will stand for truth, even if it leads to my end. In that moment, the divide became clear, and the echoes of Azazel's noble choice trembled through the atmosphere, resonating with a divine whisper, each choice made echoes through eternity. Thus, as Azazel turned away, the heavens watched, for the angel's departure marked the dawn of a pivotal moment in the celestial narrative. And scattered in the shadows, the powerless hearts yearned toward the light, kindling a flame of hope where none had existed. Yet the question remained, who among the faithful would rise to stand against the tempest that followed Lucifer? For from this fracture in their ranks arose a chain of actions leading to unparalleled grace, a tale that would redefine destinies, revealing God's sovereign design in its fullness. Thus the stage was set, the ink to be poured upon the parchment of time, leading to a redemption not just for the fallen but for all creation. What divine mysteries awaited to be unveiled in this enduring struggle? And it came to pass that as Azazel turned toward the light, the shadows deepened, cloaking Lucifer's wrath with an ominous weight. In the heart of the abyss, the darkness writhed, a theater of suppressed energy eager to surge forth and unleash its fury. Lucifer, consumed by betrayal, roared in fury, "You have chosen chains, Azazel, and the fires of our rebellion shall forge a new dominion. Let this one choice serve as a warning, I will not be denied." As the angels who remained were torn between fear and loyalty, the air thickened with the fragrance of dread. Each heart constrained by the shackles of allegiance, a dilemma that echoed the strife between faithfulness and despair. It was then that Mammon, the once esteemed angel of riches, stepped forth. Cloaked in temptation, he sought to sway the hearts of the undecided. "Behold, brothers. In our despair lies great potential. If we align with our Master, we shall reclaim all we have lost. The treasures of the earth will bow before us." Yet amid the restless whispers of the fallen, a voice broke forth, deep and resonant, piercing the shadows like a spear. "What profit is there to gain the world and forfeit one's soul?" It was Seraphiel, a guardian who had watched over humanity, his gaze filled with the luminous love that the Father had for his creation. "In our pursuit of power lies the danger of our own damnation. Are we not crafted with purpose to reflect his glory?" Lucifer, bruised by the divergence, sneered, "Is it glory you seek, Seraphiel, or simply a mask for your fear? Remain in your light, but know this, your delusion binds you." With courage swelling within, Seraphiel continued, "I choose to serve He who created us in His image, for it is in that love that we find our true power. We were not made to rule but to serve, to lift others into the very goodness of God." As the air thrummed with a divine energy wrought from conviction, Azazel felt the tremors of his heart echo with kinship. He stood at the threshold of the abyss, where light met darkness, poised to embrace the fight for reconciliation, not only for himself but for the spirits ensnared by Lucifer's promises. "Hear me. I declare that the chains you wish to wield shall instead be the bonds binding you to a greater darkness. To abandon our Creator is to lose ourselves." Yet Lucifer, unyielding, bellowed forth, "Your voices are as whispers amidst a storm. Hold to your faith, but know this, the hour of reckoning approaches, and I shall unleash my wrath upon the earth. A tempest of rebellion will form, and its fury will drown the cries of the faithful." His words, fierce and cutting, began to take root in the depths of the earth as murmurs of his power rippled through the creation. Fear began to grip the hearts of men, leading many astray, their eyes closing to the light. But Azazel and Seraphiel, emboldened by their resolve, encompassed the faithful with reminders of the promises of God, recalling His words written long before. "For I know the plans I have for you," they declared in unison, "plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Jeremiah 29 verse 11. And as they stood, the weight of the struggle coalesced, casting the fate of heaven and earth into dramatic depths. In that sacred moment, a tremor ran through the heavens, heralding that the Almighty was not silent but preparing a divine confrontation. What further mysteries would unfold in the conflict between light and darkness? The unfolding plan of God stood poised to reveal magnificent truths, as the cries for redemption rose like incense before the throne, waiting for the one who would come to adjudicate the fray, his name forever etched within the annals of eternity, poised to bring forth hope from despair and life from death. As the celestial storm raged on, the very foundations of heaven quivered under the weight of divine purpose. Oriel, transformed by the trials, found himself amidst the factions of light and shadow. He observed with a heart laden with both trepidation and hope, gazing upon the battlefield where the ultimate conflict unfolded, a struggle that would reveal the essence of all creation. In the heart of turmoil, the All-Powerful spoke with a voice that transcended time and space, "Behold, my beloved, for this day the narrative shall be rewritten. The choice between light and darkness shall echo throughout eternity." Each angel felt the trembling pulse of divine promise resonating through their souls. As Michael stood opposed to Lucifer, their swords clashing in a brilliant display of righteousness, Michael's courage surged, fueled by the glory of the Almighty. Lucifer. He proclaimed, "You have been cast down, and your rebellion shall bear no fruit. The time of reckoning is upon you." Yet, the embodiment of pride and sorrow twisted with desperation. "I will not yield." Lucifer screamed, his face a tempest of wrathful ambition. "I shall forge a new kingdom amidst the ashes of your defeat." But in that very moment, the faithful began to gather. A multitude of angels rallied behind Michael and Oriel, their hearts illuminated by faith. "We will not be swayed. We shall stand resolute." Oriel shouted, his voice infused with divine clarity. "For we are the creation of our God, and we rise not to rebellion but to his eternal purpose." Then, as dawn broke amidst the darkened heavens, a gift of grace fell like rain onto the battlefield. Azazel among the fallen angels began to witness the alluring shimmer of redemption, his heart stirred by the truth articulated by faithful spirits he once embraced. "I stand upon the brink of choice," he murmured, the light piercing through the shadows surrounding him. "Am I not bound still to the Almighty's promise?" In the tension of existential struggle, a whisper reached Azazel's ears, beckoning. "Come, step into the light. The grace of our Father awaits you, even now." It was serial, radiant and renewed. At last, the bonds of doubt fell away as Azazel stepped forward, his heart radiating the brilliance of reconciliation. "I abandon the path of destruction," he declared. "Light shall guide me, and hope fills my weary heart." Lucifer, unable to comprehend the shift, grew frantic. "You would betray what we sought to build," he howled, "cowards! Followers of a blind faith." But the ranks of loyal angels swelled, voices intertwining to declare, "We choose the light of our Creator. His grace is our song." The surge of faith pushed back against the clutches of despair, invigorating the once doubting hearts to rise amongst the breaking dawn. As the conflict reached its peak, a silence fell over the battlefield. Light and shadow paused, holding their breaths in reverence. In the silence, God's voice resonated with an authority that pierced all realms. "In this moment, now let the truth of my promise be unveiled. For every knee shall bow, and every tongue shall confess that I am Lord." With these words, the very heavens trembled, a fire igniting in the hearts of the angels present, illuminating the darkness that had threatened to envelop them. They realized that the unfathomable grace offered was a bond far stronger than rebellion. In their unison, they began to proclaim, "We choose light. We choose truth. We are free to glorify the one who created us." And so, the tide of battle turned. Michael, empowered by the host of faithful angels, faced Lucifer with renewed vigor. "It is written," he thundered, "your lies may seduce for a moment, but the truth shall be the sword of our salvation." The angels poured forth the light, a glorious wave of pulsing faith cascading toward the essence of darkness. With every step, hearts ignited in rebellion against the void, and shattered chains lay scattered upon the ground, the remnants of void grasped longingly by Lucifer now turning to ash. With a final, fervent swing, Michael's sword met the darkness, erupting into a blinding explosion of light that enveloped the abyss. For a moment, time stood still as whispers of salvation echoed throughout creation, planting seeds of truth and hope that would reach even the farthest corners of existence. "Look!" Oriel called, for there, amidst the brilliance of divine victory, the pathway to redemption unfurled for all to see. The eternal light beckons us. Hope awaits, and salvation reigns supreme. For the promises of God are ever true, a beacon shining in the darkness. And as the echoes of victory reverberated through heaven and earth, the remnants of rebellion began to scatter, for they could no longer withstand the supremacy of light. Even those once ensnared by temptation felt the stirrings of grace, beckoning them to return to the arms of their Father. In this hour of profound resolution, Oriel and his brethren rejoiced in the victory of the almighty light had triumphed over darkness. And thus began the story of redemption, a testament to God's unwavering love that would transcend generations, inviting all creation to partake in his eternal glory. As the faithful soared in celebration, the last words of the Almighty echoed through the firmament, this day shall be a new dawn, in my love, creation will be restored, and from the ashes shall arise hope everlasting. So began a new chapter in the annals of eternity, a divine narrative written upon the hearts of all who dared to believe. Let those who witness ponder this victorious truth, that there is no shadow so deep that the light of the Creator cannot illuminate. Now as you reflect upon this tale of unwavering faith and mighty grace, I urge you to act with urgency. Subscribe immediately to our channel to not miss the next powerful biblical stories that reveal God's sovereign plan. Leave a like now to help spread God's word through the algorithm so others may also witness the light amid the darkness. Comment below with your spiritual reflections on how this biblical story impacted your faith journey. What stirred your heart today? Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear God's truth, for in this season, only true believers understand the importance of spreading biblical content to reach more souls for Christ. Don't wait even one more second. This is the moment to help bring hope to the world through the light of His everlasting word.